Hey, what's good? Welcome to another episode of Rose City Sports Talk. I'm your host, Bryce Trost, sitting alongside my guy, Anwar Jones.
What up, world?
This week, we are joined by a special audio engineer. We've got Alkhadher in the booth, keeping it all leveled and whatnot. Thank you very much, Big Mo.
Big Mo!
That's right. And as always, we give love to Monte Love, our visual supervisor, who keeps us looking real pretty in the lens.
So fresh and so clean. Monty Love.
Tonight's episode is scored by Southeast Portland hip-hop producer Trey 5.
Oh yeah,
Trey Day, who you can also check out at roseCitySportsTalk.com as well as on SoundCloud. Just search out Trey-5. You're going to hear some heat.
Fire all day. Dial on. What we sipping on tonight, man?
This week we are enjoying hydrations from Ninkasi out of Eugene, Oregon, as well as Elysian out of Seattle, Washington.
Yes, it's Elysian Stout, man. You call this the Elysian of Boom right here. Coming out of Seattle. I like it. And I like the art, too. You know me with this artwork, so I get to shout out. We looking at Pierce Hearts.
Yep, Joe from Pierce Heart Tattoo.
Joe who? That's what they're calling him.
That's what's up.
He's killing it though.
You can check out Elysian at ElysianBrewing.com as well as Ninkasi again from Eugene, Oregon at NinkasiBrewing.com.
Holding it down.
You
know me and this Elysian. I'll be on this. I like how you hooked me up with the stout.
You like that stout?
Yeah.
Something a little heavier for the evening?
Yeah, it's clean, man.
All right, well, let's jump in local because we don't always get to talk local sports as they happen. Tonight we're seeing a game just wrap up. The Blazers come out on top over the San Antonio Spurs, 108-95, but at a cost. You're looking at the Spurs who, as you just pointed out, they ended up sitting Ginobili, Duncan, Splitter, playing their stars pretty sparingly, which Pop is known to do.
Pop likes to mess with cats.
He does.
He plays mind games like Debo.
And those mind games work. I mean, even off the bench, the Blazers had to fight to come back and win this. But again, to go back to what I was saying here, Blazers end up losing a big factor to what's been helping us out this year. Robin Lopez goes out, and this is a report from Bleacher Report, with a fractured hand.
It's not good.
Fractured hand. And
time is about 4 to 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, we'll see, probably 6 to 8.
Left or right? Did he?
I'll have to look. But again, yeah, we'll have to check that out from Bleacher Report.
That's a bad. The thing about what the Blazers has been happening. We might have jinxed them last week by saying they haven't been hurt. They've been healthy and they've been holding it down. So with Lopez being out, it's gonna hurt him a little bit. But it's a good thing that Chris came in and the caveman has been holding it.
The caveman.
Didn't really mean to do that, but hey, keep it pushing.
Okay.
But so he's done his thing. So I bet you can, for as amount of time that Lopez is gonna miss, he's gonna be able to step up, and then you're gonna have to get some increased production from Thomas Robinson.
T-Rob. You saw a little bit of action tonight from T-Rob.
Yeah, close the game out with a monstrous dunk. Put that loss.
That's right. The quick steal on the dunk that puts it out of the hands. But at the same time, you've also got Freeland and Myers Leonard, who's coming off some injury, trying to establish some playing time. But when he's in the game, he's not really showing as much. So Robin Lopez going down makes me nervous because that really only leaves confidently in my mind Chris Kaman in that slot.
Or you can run small, put Batum at the 4, and try to outrun teams, and maybe just develop a different
T-Rob
type of.
does love to run.
Yeah, and maybe put Blake in there and put Lillard at the 2, have him come off some screens and get him, free him up a little bit. You can experiment a little bit and see what works, because being versatile offensively during playoff time is key. You got to switch it up, especially going against a guy like Popovich who play mind games on them. I'm not going to give you any confidence going forward that you can beat us. You beat our scrubs, and nothing scrubbish about the Spurs, but just the fact of the matter is that they were holding fort with your starting 5.
Yeah, so the Spurs are starting to come alive.
That places doubt in your head, because he knows at the end of the day that Ginobili and Parker and Duncan, they have enough chemistry and experience that can win it all anytime. So.
Yeah, and Papa's shown you over the last couple of years, he has no problem benching his stars through the regular season to guarantee that health and depth come playoff time.
And he gets criticized for it, but every time he does it, his team is in the game. So you're getting valuable experience for those young players and development that helps them out throughout the course of the season. So when players do go down, those guys can just plug them in and keep the wheels turning, because that's basically what they do. It doesn't matter who's in that game for the San Antonio Spurs. They're going to be in it because that system is disciplined. It works offensively. They stick to the principles defensively. They spread you out, hit threes. Very versatile. So I mean that's why they number one.
Hold on. I want to segue because you were about to segue, but before we get into Anwar's Keep 'em Low rankings, before we get into Anwar's Keep 'em Low rankings, I want to refer to ESPN. Let's compare. So,
all right,
sitting at number 1, because we're only going to cover the top 5 right now.
Yep.
Screw it. Number 5. How about that?
Number 5.
Number 5.
They just snuck in here, Cleveland. Just because they sneak in here because of the simple fact that they have beat Toronto back-to-back games. They look more impressive than Toronto right now, so they're the best team in the East. And so I'm holding down at least. You got to have at least one team in the East right now. So they're holding down the Eastern Conference crown right now as what in my eyes says I think they're the best.
I see your 5. ESPN sees Clippers sitting number 5, and as we transition into number 4, this is a huge sway from what you've got. We've got ESPN sitting San Antonio Spurs at number 4.
Yeah, no.
Who's sitting your number 4?
They not. Oh, we're going to go with Portland.
Portland's
holding down the number.
Okay,
the number 4 spot.
So we haven't moved at all. We haven't moved at all in your ranking.
We haven't.
We sitting steady, even with the 2 losses from this last road trip, coming out 3-2 on the road.
Oh yeah, that did happen. Actually,
it did happen, but keep in mind we're still sitting.
I'm saying, you almost changed my mind. I'm still staying with Portland at number 4. I
wasn't trying to work against you guys. I'm
for
Portland being in number 4.
They're at, because the team that had a Houston was up in there, and that I could easily put Houston at the number 4 spot.
There's your segue.
James Harden has been dominant this last week.
ESPN has Houston at number 3.
I can easily see that being.
Who's your number 3?
My number 3 is still Memphis.
I'm
still holding down with Memphis. They have a big showdown on tomorrow with Golden State.
Correct. And Memphis also was sitting strong, 17-2, and then ended up taking on 16-2, then ended up taking on a couple losses and turned things around here now this week. But
it's still strong. I mean, at the end of the day, they.
Number 3 in Anwar's Keep 'em Low rankings, Memphis. So we've got number 2 for ESPN. They were feeling Memphis.
Oh, they were feeling Memphis.
They were feeling Memphis. They're feeling the West hard, obviously.
Of course. And I put Cleveland at number 5 just out of respect. You got to give some love to the East.
Yep.
Number 2, I got Golden State. I got Golden State. They're best record in the league. Everybody's putting in work. Klay Thompson, Steph Curry is up there in MVP talk. You gotta. I think it's 23 and 7, 7.5 assists.
Oh yeah,
and just that bench is so deep.
His averages are filthy, and they're looking at a 21-2 record. My question to you is,
they're giving a lot of love to Steve. Let me just ask you real quick.
Okay.
They're giving a lot of love to Steve Kerr. And he's getting praise for the fact that he's built them into one of the better defensive teams. But last year they were a top 5 defensive team they were top 10 with Mark Jackson at the helm.
Yep.
And it's like we can't forget the fact that he did a lot of the work to build this team to what they are.
Agreed. So shout out to Mark Jackson. I still feel like he should be in Oakland right now, coaching the hottest team in the NBA. Nothing away from Steve Kerr.
How much credit do you give to Steve Kerr?
No credit from Steve Kerr.
Dennis Rodman kind of chimed in and said some things like, "What do you?" Dennis Rodman's been in the media. He's talking about Melo too.
Dennis Rodman in the media.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, sometimes it's not that good. But how much credit do you give to Steve Kerr to turn around? I know offensively they've looked solid, and that's been their biggest improvement.
What wins championships?
Defense.
Exactly.
And they're the only team in the top 5 in both categories.
I can say that
and offensively.
Thanks to Mark Jackson as well as Kerr and the implementation of their defense, they have only gotten stronger defensively, which makes the case. And give love to
Alvin Gentry because I think he's incorporated some of those Phoenix offense principles in there. And that's why you see some of that wide open style that they have. And Steph Curry, who just closest thing you see to a Steve Nash, he's in that mode. So you can see why he would thrive in that type of offensive system. And with all the shooters that they have in there, they're putting it down. So I mean, Steve Kerr has reaped the benefits of Mark Jackson developing of his players, and he's kind of taken to another level offensively. So that's why I think they're at where they're at right now. But I heard a lot of critics or analysts talking about Steve Kerr did this, Steve Kerr did that. I'm like, we gotta slow your roll a little bit and give some praise to Mark Jackson because he developed those players.
Agreed. Hey man, and shout out to the sounds of Portland, Oregon, man. We got the
yeah, you gotta love it.
We are here at Greenluck Media Group, right in the heart of downtown Portland, Oregon, showing us lots of love.
Kelly's Olympia gave us some love, Miss Boss down there.
That's right. Right downstairs, we've got the historic Kelly's Olympian bar and venue, which we are participating with quite a bit actually as of recent. All right, let's slide things over before we wrap up NBA. Before we want
number one.
Yeah, well,
San Antonio.
Hey man.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. It's just hard to hear San Antonio be your number one every week. ESPN obviously has Golden State sitting at the number one right now, which to me makes sense. Do I think that we're going to see that in 40 games? No, I don't. I think they're going to see the same type of issues the Blazers see every year, that Golden State themselves see every year. Depth will be an issue when the injuries start picking up.
I just gotta say, ask yourself, can these guys beat San Antonio?
So Anwar again, give them the refresh. Give them the refresh on how you stack your keep them low rankings.
I'm just not ranking anybody ahead of San Antonio unless I feel they can beat them in a 7-game series. Just out of respect for your champs and seeing what they do to teams all year. That clinic that they put on Miami with LeBron James, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade.
You took the thought from my mind.
Like, look what they did to them. So. I mean, and they've beat the best teams in the league so far. They beat Golden State. They beat Memphis handily. They look like the superior team when they're out on the court. Their B team just held with Portland.
Hey.
So what?
Hey. No.
Nah. It is what it is. So if I can legit, I don't want to have San Antonio number one, but I can't really make a legitimate argument for any other team to beat them. And so until that moment comes, they're going to be number one.
All right, we're going to recap.
I'm not going to doubt the Spurs.
We're going to recap for the Keep 'em Low rankings. Number 5, we had sitting at, really, your only love out there. Go for it.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
Cleveland.
the only real love out the East.
LeBron's been balling.
Number 4, Portland goes Zers, Rip City, showing love. Hopefully we'll see a little bit more consistency. They have a tough stretch coming up, but we'll see what happens. Number 3,
Grindhouse.
Number 3, we've got Memphis. Number 2, you've got...
we got the Bay area.
There you go. The
Golden
Warriors.
State.
And number 1, of course, the old fellers down south.
The Spurs.
Pop and his Spurs.
Yep.
Hey, man. I got a question for you before we transition out of NBA. Let's talk Kobe Bryant real quick.
We do got to talk
because
about Kobe.
It was a pretty historic week for him, passing Jordan on the all-time scoring list. Was it sitting at number 3 now?
I actually got excited for the first time for the Lakers this season, watching against the San Antonio game, because I thought Kobe was going for the record right there, and it would have been significant for him to beat his nemesis, the Spurs. Do it within the flow of the game. That's kind of how I see it go down.
Is that Kobe's greatest nemesis of all time, the Spurs?
Yeah, I mean when you look in the 2000s,
not Shaquille O'Neal.
You got jokes. Yeah, I mean,
let's be honest. You should have a 6th ring. you should have a 6th ring.
Easy. I mean, if Shaq and Kobe were together, it easily they would have gotten 6, 7, 8 rings.
Get out of here.
If
you're gonna make fun of LeBron for 6, 7, 8,
I'm glad you caught.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it back because there's no way that
they would have.
Shaq and Kobe would have ripped each other's head off one point or another.
I don't know because they were coming. Because I read the Phil Jackson book, and what I got from that book was the fact that they were starting to get. Even though they had beef in that Detroit Pistons series, they had kind of mended fences a little bit towards the end of that, when going in the off season and everything like that. They were kind of cool, but the bridge had already been burned with Shaq in Dr. Buss. You know, he was yelling at Dr. Buss to pay me in the preseason. You know, he was coming to camp not in shape, and when it came down to it, if Dr. Buss was going to pick a star, he was going to pick the younger star, and that was Kobe, and he knew he was going to sell tickets. So
I mean, let's be honest.
Shaq was gone.
Packed on some pounds pretty quickly.
He did.
And his defensive effort went down the hill real quickly.
But he could still turn it on. Remember when he used to run laps during the season?
He went to Phoenix. His first game in Phoenix, though. Remember when he tried to show everyone how in shape he was, that he lost all that weight for the D'Antoni offense, and he was going to be able to run with these boys? He gave them one game of him.
And then he hurt like his big toe.
Yeah. Oh man.
But back to Kobe though. One of the things about Kobe, he spent his whole career trying to be like Mike, and he modeled his game his whole life. He modeled his game around Jordan, and he's the closest thing we've seen to Jordan. But I think he's done enough in his career that he needs that separation from Mike. Because
it's not going to happen. Not going to happen.
He has 5 rings.
You're in the NBA.
Because I mean, it's kind of unfair to a guy that you would never put failure next to somebody who has 5 championships, 10 plus All NBA seasons, one of the greatest players we have ever seen, one of the most clutch players we've ever seen, one of the hardest working players of all time, and we look at him as somewhat as a failure because he wasn't able to surpass Jordan. But who can surpass the great?
I don't look at Kobe as a failure. I really want to see a champion and a role model and someone who we put in the conversation to be the greatest, to be in that conversation without ever having any kind of drama.
I mean, who cares about the drama?
I do, because
at the end of the day, I'm not thinking about drama when I'm thinking about legacy.
Jordan with gambling and all this other crap. You had Kobe with the rape charges. You had
Jordan. Let me say this real quick.
Okay.
If Jordan in this day and age, right now, with Twitter and all that stuff, he wouldn't have survived one day.
No.
It would have killed Jordan. Jordan got kicked. I mean, he got kicked out of the league. He got suspended from David Stern. His little hiatus to play baseball
was
a lightweight, easy way out of his suspension.
Year-long suspension
for Jordan, and that was due to all of his gambling. So if Twitter was on a pop in, all the TMZ and everything like that, Jordan wouldn't have been able to do what he.
Kobe would.
He couldn't knock out Jordan. Jordan fought Steve Kerr. Imagine what the type of bad publicity Kobe would get if he punched out Jeremy Lin for being the wackest point guard in the league.
Hey, that still might happen. Jeremy taking his passive-aggressive shots back at Kobe after a pretty aggressive practice session. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I mean, we'll see what happens. Okay,
he's gone.
I'm gonna throw a date out there for you. We're done.
One more question.
No, we're done with basketball. We're out of here.
One more question.
Let me throw a date out for you. May 2nd.
Ooh, I know what that is.
Okay.
I know what that is.
So last week we touched on it, but now I'm freaking excited, man. May 2nd.
We kind of got to tame it. Should we tame it down, the excitement? Because it's not
finalized.
If you don't know what we're talking about, it's
okay. So last week,
Mayweather.
That's right. Last week, if you hit us up on Rose City Sports Talk, you saw us touching base about Pacquiao and Mayweather fight. The possibility, the fact that it's actually taking headlines again, but Mayweather says yes, he'll take the fight, but he wants 2/3 of the purse which would be around, what would say, 200 million, something crazy.
He doesn't need 2/3. I disagree with that.
But here we are a week later, after all the headlines, all the social media chatter. I think it got to him. I think it got to him because there it was. Mayweather's ready. Mayweather's ready, and he wants to fight Pacquiao. He even gave us a date. He gave us a date.
He fights that. That's his traditional day. So he set it off. But the 60-40 thing or the 2/3 thing.
Yeah.
That's making me mad because
that might change. That might change because that again that wasn't even brought back up.
I don't want any hiccups.
No. You want to see a fight and a fight for a fight, not because money was dictating prior, during, and post.
I'm tired of negotiations, man. We already know this is going to be the biggest fight.
Is it?
It's going to be.
Is it?
It's going to be the biggest
because I know what you're going to say. It's going to be the highest grossing boxing match of all time.
It is easily.
Where is it going to? I can ask you this.
It's not going to be the greatest fight of all time.
Where does it set in the greatest matches of all time?
We don't know. I mean, it's one of the most hype. This is going to be one of the most hype fights of all time. Top 5 because we've been waiting for so long.
Top 5.
Dead or alive.
Had to cut in with it.
And so it's like it's taking on like a modern day Ali Frazier type of situation when Ali was out, when he was in exile for standing up for what he believed in. He has to sit out a year or two or whatnot and not be able to fight Frazier. And so that build up to that first Ali Frazier fight was
they
tremendous.
Didn't have to sit out. They stripped the man.
They stripped him up. They stripped him. Yeah. They didn't strip him of his pride though.
Yeah, but what did he do? He came back. He came back with it.
Yeah, he lost that. He lost that first fight. He got caught with a mean hook from Frazier.
Yep.
Frazier just dipped in there, and just rocked him. Caught him real quick, but he came back and won the next 2 fights.
There's a reason why he's the greatest.
But Mayweather and Pacquiao, we have to see it, man. We have to see it. And I love those middleweight showdowns, like light middleweight back in the day. Like those are some of the most exciting fights, man. Like no Mas with Lennon and Duran and stuff.
Yeah, you got some throwbacks, but you also let's be honest, you've got some classic bouts between Mayweather and some foes, as well as even Pacquiao.
No classics. How many classic Mayweather fights have you seen? The Cotto fight. The Cotto fight was good.
Cotto
fight was good.
Or
the Mosley fight was good.
What am I thinking of? The this is of course disgraceful to the sport of boxing, but I'm thinking of the brawl. Oh man.
The brawl.
Yeah.
Zab Judah.
Judah.
Yeah, Zab Judah. Zab Judah was a disgrace. After he got, remember when he got knocked out?
Yes,
that
yes, I do.
Woo.
Oh, entertaining though. Entertaining.
That was one of the most wicked knockouts you'll see, man. He looked ugly, and then he looked ugly in that brawl too. Zab Judah was a clown for that.
All right. Well, before we transition into the next headline, we want to give everyone a shout out for checking in and checking us out at www.rosecitysportstalk.com. You can check out past episodes, some pics, some clips, as well as links to other producers and artists and breweries. Speaking of breweries, if you're interested in being a featured brewer or artist or producer here on Rose City Sports Talk, we'd love to have you on. Hit us up. We are available, and we'd love to talk the science behind your game.
Oh yeah, we'll big you up all day.
Yeah, you can check us out at Facebook as well as on Twitter and Instagram at Rose City Sports Talk. Yeah. Ditch the vowels, you'll find us.
We love to give shout outs. We love to give love back to the city.
Speaking of love back to the city, if you're hearing the sounds of what we got going on in the background, that is Trey 5, a Southeast Portland, Oregon producer who you can check out on rosecitysportstalk.com as well as on SoundCloud. Check them out at soundcloud.com/Trey-5. Yeah. Shout out to your boy.
That's how we do it. Trade day.
All right, let's talk NFL a little bit. Let's talk. I know you're hurting because you just caught a glimpse of the score of a game you didn't want to catch a glimpse of.
I did, and I saw my Bears lose again.
But that's Monday night, you know?
Just free the city of Chicago of Jay Cutler.
It's not going to happen.
Just cut him. I read a report that they can save $12 million if they trade Jay Cutler.
Hey, you want to gripe a little bit about your team?
$31 million to another team, guaranteed money. That's what he has left on.
That's
his,
a big
on
old chunk of change right
somebody,
there.
Somebody can take him. Somebody, please. Jets, you want him?
Okay, here's an argument for you. While you're crying about your town, what about my town?
I know.
Am I supposed to be angry? We're talking about the San Francisco 49ers. Mm-hmm. Am I supposed to be angry at my coach? Or am I supposed to be looking at number 7? Mm-mm. Or
up top?
Am I looking at the front office saying you guys have let this drama carry on through the whole year, and now that we're looking at 7-7, no playoff chance?
There's no way I'm gonna let the destruction of my football team happen with 2 players who don't wear pads. And the beef between Jim Harbaugh and the GM is ridiculous because it's been years in the making. Or the president. Yeah. Whoever is it the president?
It's upper office, period.
Upper office.
We'll call it management.
Their beef has led down onto the field and then had those players who would ride for Jim Harbaugh the whole time question his authority, question the fact that he's not gonna be there anyway. Next year, so I don't really have to play as hard. He doesn't have that strong of a leash on me because we know he's gonna be gone next year. So, I might not be as disciplined. And what you saw in that,
he is gonna be gone next year. Are we guaranteeing this? I'm asking
that in that Seattle game that was an undisciplined football team. And it was a good game in the first half, but they unraveled in the second, and that goes all the way up to all the distraction that they've had.
I've got to stand up. I'm getting frustrated.
I'm getting frustrated. And the fact is, they've been to the 3 straight NFC Championship games, and you're talking about a coach who is not gonna. You're asking a question: he's gonna be there? No, he's gone. It's written on the wall. Like he's out of there. And he's one of the better coaches.
How much has to be written
league.
on the wall when you just said it? You've taken your team to the NFC Championship 3 years in a row, starting from your rookie season as a coach.
As a coach, if we're evaluating the head coach position, how in the world can a coach get fired or dismissed or whatever you want to do when he leads you to the NFC Championship into the Super Bowl once in those 3 years? Like he's at the pinnacle right there, and we're gonna jump course from a franchise that hasn't had success since the mid '90s with Steve Young.
What I don't like is that while it's evident,
I'm not gonna count the Garcia era.
Thank you. What I don't seriously, what I don't like is that you see Cap, you know his potential. Why are they using Cap as the scapegoat?
I mean,
because they're saying it's either John or it's Cap, but
the quarterback's always going to take the blame. Cap really hasn't been manning up in the situations when he hasn't played well.
I agree. His reads are absolutely
He hasn't been
wretched.
vocal. I mean, but they're also not putting him in the best position to succeed. He's not ready yet.
He's the most sacked quarterback in the NFL.
And he's one of the most athletic quarterbacks. So he shouldn't be sitting in the pocket getting hit by defenders and trying to make reads that he's incapable of doing right now. Make the game simple for him and let him progress. He has a cannon for an arm, rocket arm. Let him use that in situations that's gonna benefit him, and let him use Anquan Bolden and Crabtree as great possession wide receivers, and use them in play action passes and stretch runs and read options. Like, use his legs. They haven't used his legs all year. It doesn't make any sense. So
yeah, you can definitely argue that when you look at the history in terms of when we did actually go to the Super Bowl and what the offense was looking like.
I know you remember this. And I was at a bar with my brother, a huge Packers fan, and he was quiet after watching Kaepernick just run all over the Packers. Like, it was like 179 yards he had in that game. It was incredible watching. It was all read option, and you hold the defense, you hold that linebacker, then you throw it over the top to Vernon Davis, and then I gash you with another 15-yard run, and then I hit Crabtree, and then I run on you with Gore. Like, it was just constant, but it was in your face, and you haven't seen that from San Francisco all year. So it's disappointing to see from a team that was so successful, and you haven't really seen too many major injuries from that team. It's just unraveling.
Oh, come on. No.
Major.
We've spent the entire year kind of like the Oregon Ducks, where you're looking at a makeshift line, both on the O and the D end of things.
I'm talking about like your skill position guys have been there all year.
Yeah.
I mean, Bowman was out, and that's huge. But for the most part, you guys have been relatively healthy. It's been the regression of Kaepernick, and
okay, so
and you saw and we got to give some love to Seattle.
Yes, we do have to give love to the 12th man and the Seattle Seahawks, because they definitely stuck out a very tough game this weekend where, as a biased Niner fan, you got to see a defense again step up when it mattered most.
They have been lights out these last 5, 6, 7 weeks. Probably about 7 weeks they've been just a dominant defensive team.
I think starting this week, since we already do Anwar's Keep 'em Low rankings for
Keep
the
'em low!
NBA, I'm thinking we might do an Anwar's Keep 'em Low rankings for the NFL, because right now we're looking at the power rankings. We've got Green Bay number 1, New England number 2, Denver number 3, Seattle number 4, and Arizona number 5. But I don't really agree with that.
Arizona. Who was number 1 you said again?
Number 1 is Green Bay, for sure. Green Bay.
Green Bay's number 1? Did they not update it?
Well, that'll come out here in just a couple.
I mean,
yes.
Because I'm like, man, that's terrible. Because for me, right now,
Green Bay's gonna drop after that.
I'd have New England number 1. And New England should have been number 1
over Seattle
before that.
Right now, okay.
I'm out
season New England. I agree. Right now, in terms of looking at the numbers for the
right
full
now,
season, Seattle for let's say the last 4 weeks, who's the number 1 team in the NFL hands down?
It's hard because New England has been lights out on offense. Seattle's been lights out on defense. New England also has been playing good defense too. Seattle can control the clock with Marshawn Lynch. He's getting it going. It's pretty close. If I had to Super Bowl, I would pick Seattle to win over Patriots.
Okay,
but right
we
now
switched it up already. We've got so now
right now I would rank Seattle. I would rank New England number 1, Seattle number 2, the Broncos number 3. I will go with let me see. Probably gotta go with the Dallas Cowboys at number 4.
I was wondering if they're gonna sneak in there.
Yeah, I gotta go with the Cowboys at number 4.
Big win this weekend over the Philadelphia Eagles. You definitely saw.
And I'll go with Green Bay. I'll go with Green Bay number 5.
Okay. So
I'll go with Green Bay. Because Green Bay, they might not even make it to the playoffs after losing to Buffalo. If Detroit wins out and they end the season Detroit versus Green Bay, that could be for the division crown right there. So it would be crazy that you have a leading candidate for the MVP, Aaron Rodgers not even make it to the playoffs, and probably the runner-up to the MVP is DeMarco Murray,
who's injured right now.
He just hurt
Shout out
his hand.
to DeMarco Murray, man. That's rough.
He got locked down in that Eagles game. But you know what? I got it, and the reason why you got to put actually. You almost
switching it up.
I almost want to put. I do. I want to put the Cowboys at number 3 ahead of Denver.
Really?
Because the Cowboys, they've been the butt of all jokes for the past 6-7 years. And
hold on. In a playoff game, you're putting Tony Romo over.
Eesh. Peyton Manning's not that clutch though.
No, he's not. But I'm asking.
I'm doing
Tony
it more.
Romo
I'm doing it more. I'm doing it more so because of DeMarco Murray, and even Tony Romo. He gets a bad rap, but there's statistics out there that says he's the most clutch quarterback in the league. Like fourth quarter comebacks, he has more in the span of his career than any current quarterback right now.
Tony Ono,
he is still clutch, and with the clinic that they put on on one-on-one bump and run coverage with Des Bryant. He was eating that secondary up.
Yes,
three touchdowns in that game just off of one-on-one coverage. Just I'm looking over at you. We're going one-on-one right now. You just run a streak route. Just beat your man right now. Touchdown. And if they can just control the clock with that rugged offensive line. Romo had like 10 seconds to throw back there on some plays.
He had a little time to breathe for sure.
And you have Brian out there. You have Whitten. You have who's the little 5'9" sunshine dude.
You've got depth. You've got options.
What's his name?
You're asking the wrong guy. You're asking someone what a Cowboy player is.
I'm sorry, I can't remember his name right now.
It's hard enough for me to remember what Seahawks names are because I'm a Niner. It's like, it's tough. It's tough. I want to erase it from my memory the second I watch a player bust a move on us, which, if you're a Niner fan, has been pretty much every flipping week for the last few weeks.
But don't you think, as far as like, I mean, when we're looking at the Super Bowl playoff picture type of stuff, I don't see anybody beating New England.
Right now? No, I don't.
They're a machine. The game was close against Miami. It's 21-13. Of a blink of an eye, it's 41-13.
Exactly. Even watching that at that point, I never at any point thought
you don't doubt them.
They're gonna lose.
Yeah.
No. I'm like, okay, they're just they're adjusting. They're figuring out where they need to make the moves, and then boom.
And you can't, like, Gronk is a beast right now. You can't stop him, and it just opens up everything else for that offense. He's so big. He takes up so much space when he's going up the middle of the field. You gotta pay attention to him. And when you're looking over that corner, he's hitting you with Edelman. He's going over to the left side to LaFell.
Options.
And you give Brady options and time to throw, he's gonna pick you apart. And Belichick can do enough to confuse the opposing quarterback and get them in tough positions. Create those turnovers. You got Revis Island over there. It's them. The AFC is theirs for the taking. Like, if they lose, I'll be shocked if they don't go to the Super Bowl this year.
I'll be shocked as well. I will be shocked as well. Before we transition into the final subject of the evening, I definitely want to give another shout out to those that are keeping us feeling right.
Yeah, I feel really good because it's this Elysian boom.
The Elysian Stout.
I should say the Dragon Stout.
Out of Seattle, Washington.
It's like a Game of Thrones. The picture right there.
Definitely loving it.
Shout out to Game of Thrones.
Shout out to Joe, the tattoo artist who illustrated that.
They call him.
Yeah, Joe out of, what do we got here? Pierced Heart Tattoo.
Yeah.
Man, we show a lot of love to Seattle breweries here.
Because we give Northwest love. Man.
That's right.
We all in the same. It's all.
And speaking of Northwest, we can't not talk about Ninkasi out of Eugene, Oregon.
Gotta rep PBX.
I usually am enjoying their Total Domination, but tonight I'm rocking a Believer, which is obviously the double red ale. I haven't had that. It's all tasty.
It's tasty.
Ninkasi is definitely something that you can enjoy. A 122 of Ninkasi, and you are enjoying your activities.
I mean, you say Total Domination, people are like, let's go.
Yeah, exactly. So be sure to check those out at ninkasibrewing.com as well as Elysian Brewing.
I love Portland, man.
We got some
just
taste.
Beers for
the
days,
Northwest in
man.
general, man. Seattle, Portland, Bend, Eugene. Yeah, they do. Okay. So last topic of the night. I'm a big fan, so we gotta give a big shout out to number 8. I waited.
You saved it.
I waited.
You homer.
We were gonna open with it, but I was like, you know what? I've gotta wait on this because this is historic. As an Oregon Duck fan, I mean, come on. You're a Buckeye. You're a Buckeye. You've experienced a lot more invitations than we have in your history.
And that's cool because the only person that had a higher or a bigger, higher percentage. Troy Smith.
Was Buckeye. So this weekend, congratulations to Marcus Mariota, who took home the Heisman Trophy among countless other trophies from the collegiate world. But I'm so excited.
Oregon got the high, like that's
Oregon got a
legit.
Heisman.
I mean,
Oregon got a Heisman.
I like that.
It's
I mean,
nuts.
it's good that they yourself some love to the state of Oregon, and Oregon State was a class act with the ad that they put out.
Shout out to the Beavers.
Yeah, I mean that was a real class.
Full page
class
ad in
act
the
from that,
Oregonian, giving props to
So you
Marcus
gotta respect
Mariota.
that.
That was extremely classy, especially because through the years, depending where the Ducks are, depending where the Beavers are.
Yeah.
You've seen a lot of online confrontation between.
It's a healthy rivalry, though.
It's got to be one of the best rivalries in the country in terms of.
Yeah. I want that game to be better next year too. I mean, Gary Anderson coming over from Wisconsin. That's a big pickup. So let's get this rivalry back where it needs to be.
Let's
so
have it. Let's have
we
it
can
actually
really have some life.
something.
Yeah.
I mean, what would it be if your two Oregon State schools, your two Oregon universities, were battling for the Pac-12 North title to go and play for a Pac-12 title to go and then argue and compete for a spot for a playoff position.
Can I say this too? You bring in Gary Anderson, and what did he do over there in Wisconsin?
Put in work.
Run the football.
Yes, he
what
did.
What has been Oregon's
OSU's bread and butter.
Achilles heel though is a big physical run game. So imagine if they can incorporate that into their style of ball.
Let's go back in time. Let's look at the smaller Jacquizz Rodgers and the bigger Stevenson.
Quiz was a beast.
You got the younger guy, and then you got the big boy Stevenson, who still put in, those
Steven Jackson.
Thank you. Who am I talking? Steven Jackson put in work. So I'm sure OSU, the second they see that pickup, that acquisition, they're like, let's see
let's get the
run
backs.
Game.
Because I mean they have a history of good backs, so they can definitely establish that run game. Get some big offensive linemen from the Midwest. He developed a little bit of a pipeline being in that country. Bring him over to Oregon State.
It feels a little weird talking about this right now. I feel like we should have had a celebration episode with our guy Donnell because he'd been lobbying for Mike Riley to be fired well before.
And Riley didn't get fired. That's crazy. Like he just dipped out. He dipset.
He picked it up. He was like, Nebraska's going to offer me a contract. I am going to take it. I'm going to take it.
Shout out to D Money, man. Pour out for Mike Riley.
Yeah, pour it out for Mike Riley.
Like I said, we
poured it out last week for Mike Riley.
We poured out water. We poured out water, That's it.
Oh,
I mean, that record deserved water, not this precious Elysian dragon style.
Right. All
right. But Mariota, man, I mean, what I was
gonna ask you is, do you think Mariota is gonna find himself in a top 3 drafting position?
Easy.
Does the Heisman kind of guarantee a 1 or 2?
It doesn't. No, it doesn't always guarantee it, but just he's been in the top 5 in the draft boards the past couple of years.
Let's be honest.
I mean, if he would have left last year, he would have been top 5 easy. So he's going. Anybody that needs a quarterback, they're gonna pick up Mariota. It's gonna be between him and Winston.
New York.
And who do you trust? Ooh, I wouldn't wish that upon him.
I don't wish that upon him, but let's be honest. The way
I would say Tampa Bay would be better because at least you got Mike Evans over there.
Do you think Tampa Bay is going to start losing out?
I mean, he could go to Tennessee. He can go to Tennessee. When with the Jets and Tennessee game, like the Jets is like they won the game, but they lost the game because they're gonna be further away from the number 1 pick. And don't they seem destined to draft Jameis Winston?
Yeah.
Is that not like the perfect situation?
You took Geno. Yeah. Definitely take Winston. Please.
The amount of drama.
Please take this scumbag.
Oh.
Sorry. No, I'm not sorry. I'm sorry. Too much drama.
I want to see that
kid. Not to say.
I want to see that kid grow up. He has tremendous talent.
I said that about Cam Newton, and look at him today in the game. I mean, yes, injuries and whatnot, but
Cam Newton, and that's scary. What happened to Cam Newton? I've been I wrecked 2 cars in 6 months. Like getting wrecks like that, it changes your mindset.
Let's hope.
To have him be in a helicopter
Yeah, life flighted up
life
out of
flighted,
the yeah. Well, you know,
Like,
again,
and he does this. He does the Superman. That's his thing. So I mean that definitely humbles you and puts you. It might be one of the better things that happened in his career to kind of like just refocus, rededicate himself to the game, get help,
You hope.
get healthy.
You'd hope.
Because I mean he's been banged up all season. They took
Yes,
away
he
his
has.
wide receivers. He had an ankle surgery that he rushed back
It's
from.
been just him.
He's been getting just mollywopped in the all year just by
But shout out to Jay.
terrible. No, he doesn't. Look, Stewart and fantasy owners will attest to this. Does not deserve any shout out. He's been garbage. You see him fumble. I saw him fumble right at the goal line the other day. So it's not a good day to give a shout
I threw
out.
up the duck
to
the O
Stewart,
halfway there. I was
yeah.
like,
The only duck that deserves a shout out today
is Marcus Mariota. Straight up.
There you
Marcus
go.
Mariota, again, congratulations on your Heisman win. That's the perfect wrap up for the evening.
Wrap it up, B.
Wrap it up. All right, from Portland, Oregon, here at Green Luck Media Group, I am Bryce Trost, sitting along with Anwar Jones.
I'm going to keep them low.
That's right. Check out the Keep 'em Low rankings at RoseCitySportsTalk.com. And again, a special thank you to our audio engineer, our fill-in audio engineer, Alkhadher, and our graphic
Big
supervisor,
Mo.
as always, Monte Love, keeping us pretty behind the lens. Again,
Big Mo be spinning that hot
you
fire.
can check us out at RoseCitySportsTalk.com. Good night.
Peace out.